How are you, everyone in the world and Christians? This is the Bushido channel, an old man who lives in the countryside of Japan, which boasts a history of thousands or even tens of thousands of years. Japan has a spirit of Bushido. There is a samurai spirit. There is Yamato soul. Today's Japanese seem to have forgotten that spirit, but that spirit is alive in the depths of their hearts. It is an eccentric channel that analyzes world-famous paintings with such a Bushido spirit. Thank you. I've solved the unsolved mysteries of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper, the Annunciation, Virgin of the Rocks, and the Baptism of Christ. These are probably the four most important paintings of Leonardo da Vinci. These four works are works that require solving a mystery. If you do not solve the mystery, the meaning of this work will be halved. Mona Lisa is a little different from The Last Supper, the Annunciation, Virgin of the Rocks, and the Baptism of Christ. That's what Mona Lisa is asking us, a mystery. Well, today I would like to introduce Mona Lisa, Part 3. In Mona Lisa Part 1, I introduced how I was brought back into the world of art by Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Part 2 introduced the technical content of Mona Lisa that is often overlooked. I was happy with the Part 1 and Part 2 studies. I was satisfied. So I started to analyze The Last Supper, the Annunciation, Virgin of the Rocks, and the Baptism of Christ. It's been a few years since then. And again, Mona Lisa started to become anxious. What I was interested in was the character on the right arm of Mona Lisa. I was curious about the letters of the alphabet that I didn't understand what was written. I learned a lot while analyzing The Last Supper, the Annunciation, Virgin of the Rocks, and the Baptism of Christ. I made the most of the spirit of Bushido in Japan. To put it simply, it's a straightforward look. It is important to abandon preconceptions. Using the experience of analyzing four major works of Leonardo da Vinci, I challenge to analyze Mona Lisa again. The desire to decipher that letter in Mona Lisa made me eager to invert and decipher the letters. But I thought I needed to look at it from a wider perspective. Leonardo da Vinci is said to be a versatile genius, but his life was not so blessed. However, the last 3 years of his life were invited to Francis I in 1516. And the Cruz mansion near Francis I's residence, Amboise Castle, was given as his mansion. Leonardo da Vinci spent the last 3 years of his death with his disciples and friends. I'm not interested in art history, but when I think of his life, I think it's the happy 3 years of his last years. In such a life, it is conceivable that Mona Lisa was placed beside him and continued to be added. It can be thought that Mona Lisa was not completed. From another point of view, it is possible to see him as a painting that he can continue to draw without getting tired of it. Until the end, it was a picture that Leonardo da Vinci could enjoy drawing. No one knows the truth. I watched Mona Lisa again. I saw it after a long time. I don't know how many hours I watched in total. I've never seen the real Mona Lisa, but it was enough for me to see it on my computer monitor. He calmed down and continued to watch with the spirit of Bushido. I may be curious. for Leonardo da Vinci, there's a part that is unexpectedly drawn. I felt that Leonardo da Vinci was not good at drawing the pillars on the balcony in the background and the brown shawl on the right side of Mona Lisa. It can be said that he drew it that way because this is a part that is not usually important in terms of thinking, and it is also possible that he was old and had a hard time drawing. But is that really the case? Thinking vaguely like that time has passed, I observed that letter again. I saw it with an innocent feeling. I stopped trying to flip it. I saw it as it was. At one point, I wondered if it was S-A-R-T-O in the Sarto alphabet. I don't understand the meaning of this word, so I casually searched on the net. I searched for Leonardo da Vinci in Sarto. I didn't expect to hit anything, but it was a hit. It was the painter Andrea del Sarto. The meaning of his name is Tailor Andrea. Was the tailor drawn on Mona Lisa? I thought it had nothing to do with it. I was surprised when I checked Andrea del Sarto. According to Wikipedia, from 1518 to the following year, I was invited by King Francis I of France to go to Fontainebleau. The masterpiece, Our Lady of Albi-Calpullia, has a stable triangular composition, the head of Our Lady in the center and the lines connecting the heads of the saints on both sides form a triangle. The luscious colors and the sfumato technique, which is influenced by Leonardo da Vinci, are the characteristics of Andrea's style of painting. Many painters will be influenced by Leonardo da Vinci. However, he is described as invited by King Francis I of France to go to Fontainebleau. This is a surprise. Leonardo da Vinci lived in a mansion nearby. He found a point of contact for Andrea del Sarto, Leonardo da Vinci. In fact, I think it's highly possible that they met. If Leonardo da Vinci, who was already famous at that time, was nearby, Andrea del Sarto couldn't go to see him. From here on, it's my delusion. This is my hypothesis. It's a fairy tale. I didn't know the painter Andrea del Sarto at all. Conversely, it can be said that there is no prejudice. It is a miracle that I was able to derive Andrea del Sarto from the hidden characters on the right arm of Mona Lisa. I'm excited again. It's an unmistakable fact, even if it's my belief. I propose a bold hypothesis that Andrea del Sarto may have drawn the poorly drawn part of Mona Lisa that I mentioned earlier. Mona Lisa is a collaboration between Leonardo da Vinci and Andrea del Sarto. It's a collaboration between Leonardo da Vinci and Andrea del Sarto. So I think Leonardo da Vinci drew that character with commemoration, gratitude, and records. What's more, I feel the deep meaning of that reversal enthusiast Leonardo da Vinci's drawing at the end of his life rather than mere writing. Leonardo da Vinci is a weirdo, but he may have become obedient at the end of his life. Why did Leonardo da Vinci collaborate? Did Leonardo da Vinci, an old and technically stuck man, ask Andrea del Sarto for help? No, the amazing drawing of Sarto drowns out that imagination. It is correct to assume that Leonardo da Vinci's technique has not diminished until the end. So what should we think about? I feel like Leonardo da Vinci was playing to the end. He enjoyed the best puzzle in the world called Mona Lisa. He enjoyed the painting by himself, but did he enjoy this game with Andrea del Sarto, who happened to appear there? You can imagine that the game was fun for Leonardo da Vinci, but it could have been a pain for Andrea del Sarto. Leonardo da Vinci allowed Andrea del Sarto to add. Leonardo da Vinci asked Andrea del Sarto what he should do to complete this painting, and he did it? How was the victory or defeat? Perhaps the result was unknown to Andrea del Sarto. But Leonardo da Vinci gave Andrea del Sarto a passing score. The proof is the drawing of Sarto. If you can't solve the writing, no one will know the result. Leonardo da Vinci is a weirdo until the very end. He doesn't seem to be straightforward either. Am I the only one who feels suffering when I see the paintings after Andrea del Sarto? I want to tell him. I feel like he was proved to be past 500 years later. Being loved all over the world proves that. How is Mona Lisa? Part 3. This time it may not be an analysis. Hypothesis, fantasy, fairy tale. No one knows the truth. That's fine. It was the best opponent for an old man living in the countryside of Japan to challenge. Make full use of the spirit of Bushido. My life was revived by Mona Lisa. That's enough. And it caused a miracle in my life. I forgot. That skull is currently supposed to be the bone of an old woman in his drawing. Thank you for watching until the end. Goodbye.